The art and science of product selection. You can't sell what you don't stock. 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 So a customer walks in for the first time and they have one product in mind, but because you're good at product curation, they end up leading with 3. They say, whoa, Transformer figures? I love those. And they're only $8 in the little box? That's awesome. Look at this place. There's so much here. I love the Atlanta Braves. Can I just look at those cards? I don't even know if I want to own one, but man, just to think about all those players that won that World Series in 1995, I'm going to spend some minutes there. Oh, look at these soft plushies. These Douglas animals. Can you look at that? Is that not adorable? I'm adorable. Yes. Oh, it feels so good. Are we talking about a family of 4? Have we captured one of them yet? We might have, because selection is one of the keys to a strong retail business. And product selection is the choice that an owner makes, a buyer makes, that creates the culture of your store. It's really pretty simple. You can't sell what you don't stock. And if you stock well, you can sell things that people will enjoy, that people with value. But before they walked in the door, they didn't even know existed. They didn't even know they wanted. So, selection defines your identity. A well-stocked store feels abundant. The store feels confident. It feels worth the drive. Your selection can make you a destination location. Your selection can build loyalty for customers for a long time after that. How a game store's shelves look, what's on them, what you can find inside the store. That tells a story before anybody in the business ever says a word, unless you're really good at marketing and show your selection on camera. In a game store, the bread and butter is always going to be the TCGs, trading card game. And there's 3 big ones, usually, that have dominated since Magic releases in 1993, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon follow up after 1999. Magic is our biggest seller almost every year. Guess what? Pokemon is our biggest category sale this year. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Has held us up for a little while, but there's a little flux in those third spots. We also sell games like Lorcana, we sell One Piece, we've sold Flesh and Blood. There are a lot of trading card games that can be the key to a selection in retail. So, if you're a game store owner, you probably already know that already, or you want to be a game store owner, you probably ought to invest in it often. The tricky part is knowing what's new and hot and how to get allocations on it. And it's really hard to get into trading cards and building allocation. So it becomes this investment of risk. Do I buy Flesh and Blood when the alpha set comes out? And then the bigger question might be, do I sell it or do I hold it? Because we had Flesh and Blood Welcome to Wrath first edition boxes and I sold a lot of them. Pretty proud of myself until I look back at the value of those and think, whoa. But you can't sell what you don't stock. So whether or not there will be value climb on trading cards or it'll crash down like Battle Spirit Saga, we bought those too. You have to be able to buy it. And in a game store, that means you are leveraging your available cash flow, what you think you can return on cash flow, and the risk that might go to 0, might be a flop, might be unpopular, versus it might create a stable customer base, it might make you a lot of money in the first 3 months, and it might be a good long-term hold. But you can't sell what you don't stock. So the art and science of product selection really is, I say this word so much, math. It is a math analysis. Business is math. You have to be able to look at how much money you have of available income and how much you think that risk you take in buying 40 boxes, in buying into the first set, in buying into 100 boxes, in buying into 12 boxes, how much leverage does that give you from your available capital and product selection to create greater cash flow, greater returns, higher product selection and available quantity the next time? Not only are we wondering about how much product we can put in the store when we talk about TCGs, but we're looking at how much allocation we can build with distribution. So the next set, if it's hotter, if it's cooler, that we can still get some. So the funny thing about Pokemon is we have a lot of it, right? And that's because we've ordered for years. We've ordered big for years. But part of the reason we still have a lot of Pokemon is Pokemon went like this, and then it went like this, and then it went like this. And the product in this part right here, we're still ordering big, but we're not selling that big. And we're waiting on the Christmas Pokemon bump because it's annual. It comes around a lot. And Pokemon, when we still have a lot, I ordered a lot of Obsidian Flames. And Obsidian Flames was good, but not great. And then the set or two after were like, "Arr!" And then Pokemon pulled back a little bit on production, right? But I still had bought into allocation, and I still had product, and that could have been bad. It could have. But the tides turned on Pokemon, which, Pokemon's a perennial brand. It's the biggest global brand. And buying into that and having the product selection meant that now I've got one of the best selections around. So we have the pack racks, we have booster boxes, we have elite trainers, but the eye appeal of selection also matters. So let me take you to the eye candy. This Pokemon selection right here, these box sets, this is one of my favorite things to show off on camera on social media. And it's because as a game store, right, you can't sell what you don't stock. And selection's going to build your identity. And people might walk in and say, whoa, I've been looking for this, but I haven't seen this in a year. How do you still have that? We buy them from distribution. I've bought in the low times, I've bought in the high times, and not everything fits on my shelves at once. So we just make sure we have a pretty curated, good selection, and we have stuff that other people don't, because you can't sell it if you don't stock it. And if you stock it well and stock it deep and you know the markets and you can make those moves, sometimes you can sell things 3 years later online and make a lot of money. Collectors. Sometimes you can sell it on your shelves, and the product itself is your marketing. The product tells customers, hey, we're a pretty cool treasure hunt. It's fun to be here. It's worth the drive. This selection makes our store look confident. This selection makes our store look interesting. As I'm walking around, you're like, oh, I want to be there. I want to see that place. That's really cool. That's why we show it off on camera. But our selection helps create a feeling that a billboard can't, that a news radio can't, that ads on Facebook kind of can, but they make you want to come in the store. And then when you do walk in this door, when you open it up, door's right here, and then you look around, you're like, Toledo, I didn't know that Great Bend, Kansas could have this. And Great Bend, Kansas has this because you got a store owner that really believes, well, I can't sell it if I don't stock it. And if I stock well, and if I look at the markets, and if I can sell online if I get in trouble, or if, the locals decide they don't want it, well, I can stock deep, I can stock wide, I can have the coolest selection to be a destination location, and I can prove profitable. Product selection is key to a retail business. Look at all these video games. This is so many video games. The truth is, locally, I can't buy enough video games to stay this well stocked. So we've got to rely on me buying from other sources so we can make sure that we have a selection that is confident. We have a selection that is worth driving for. Because in retail, say it again, Darcy, this is lame. You can't sell it if you don't stock it. And sometimes that means you've got 3 GameCubes and 4 N64s. But Christmas is coming. And sometimes that means you've got this whole wall. Wait, that's 2 walls of DVDs. And people are like, yeah, I wouldn't mind a $5 Scooby-Doo video. Or yes, I love A League of Their Own. I'll buy that from you. And what you build is an experience of retail that is interesting, that draws people in, that makes someone feel like a fan of not only Pop Funko, but their local game store. Because you have cool things in a place that invites wonder, that you have selection that makes things interesting. And selection matters to your bottom line. Your available funds matter to your selection. Your knowledge of your customer clientele matters to your selection. Your location absolutely matters to your ability to move your stock and what you can select. All these things are part of an intricate gear system, like the inner workings of a clock, where you got to turn your knobs to say, I want to put this much money into this type of product because I have reach to these types of customers, and I think I can make this type of return. Because in the math, if I want to sell these swords and I've got to buy so many to stock them, I've got to know that I have the customer base to do it in order for the idea that you can't sell it if you don't stock it to make mathematical sense. You've got to know how much available funds you have. You got to have a pretty good idea of your customer base in your draw. And then you got to stock so that you can sell to your customers. Maybe have some outs if you can't sell to your local customers. And then build a sense of wonder in a local game store through all the stuff you can stock so you can sell it.